speaks of food not recommended by God for our diet, called unclean food. Why? The animals that the Bible calls unclean are those such as fish without scales, among others, the majority of insects, pigs, birds of prey, and other animals with specific features. Some of these animals, for their nature or their organic structure and biological activity in nature, are classified as reservoirs or processors and purifiers of toxic elements of the ecosystem. When man begins to consume these animals, he interrupts the natural cleansing process of decomposition in which the animal intervenes to leave its habitat clean. Man does not allow an animal to complete its process of decaying or cleansing, but eats an animal with potential quantities of illnesses and infections. God designed these animals for the purpose of carrying out this biological cycle in their habitat. He did not classify these as edible, as the so-called clean animals. The biblical connotation, unclean animal, does not fit with today's human conception of dirty or loathing. Still, it is an animal that is charged with a process which should not be interrupted, of decontaminating and decomposition of its natural habitat. God recommended eat not of it. For example, hepatitis B is transmitted by some of these animals, such as oysters, which were responsible for a hepatitis epidemic in China in 1987. Fish without scales or with smooth skin absorb or filter food particles from the water, easily absorbing more toxins or poisons in oceans and rivers, like traces of contaminating mercury and lead, such as were found in U.S. tuna and salmon, which are considered clean species. Crabs also feed from the absorption of food particles in the water. In His instruction manual, God recommends the eating of clean animals. If one takes a look at the different species, the Bible speaks of species with scales and flippers. It is known that the meat of scale and flipper species is cleaner and carries more essential nutrients. Another benefit of eating clean animals comes from deep water creatures that carry a high EPA content, a substance that favors the cleaning of the arteries and the elimination or synthesis of harmful cholesterol in the liver. On the other hand, shrimp and some crustaceans fill the same function as some worms and caterpillars, which is to remove decomposition and to oxygenate and supply other species with nourishing elements. They have the function of complementing the ecological balance for worms that takes effect on the Earth's crust and for crustaceans at the bottom of the ocean. These crustaceans are located at determined depths and in determined places. This is notable because they are purifying and cleaning those specific areas. Sometimes they are cultivated in areas that are not very clean, like at the mouth or near outlets of residual waters or sewage and garbage, where most shrimp abound. Here's an example. We throw away garbage. A small animal comes along to consume that garbage and to prevent contamination. And then man comes along and consumes that small animal that is going through a cleaning process. The man is consuming part of the contamination that he himself threw away. Ironic, isn't it? Carrion birds like buzzards and vultures, crustaceans like lobsters, crabs, and shrimp, insects and fish, whose function in the ecosystem is to clean up contamination, are each responsible for a specific area of the ecosystem. God said, "Do not consume these. Consume these better." For many of us, it is a shame that pork and rabbit and their kin are among the animals that God does not recommend eating. Like any instruction manual for the benefit of obtaining top-notch performance, the Bible recommends clean animals for eating, like the cow or the lamb or the goat. Animals that offer better quality food and smaller risk of illness. The use of the healthy advice of God guarantees a quality of life for His creatures. All the same, even though God permitted the eating of some animals, the original plan is a 100% vegetarian diet. No meat. According to Genesis 1:29, every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. We are facing the second coming of Jesus Christ and are about to be transferred to the new Garden of Eden. In this new paradise, no animal will be killed, because no animal will be eaten. In heaven, the lion shall eat straw like the bullock. We, the ones that will be transferred to heaven, may God grant it, should return to God's original diet. Although Jesus ate fish in our land, in the new Garden of Eden, or paradise, no animal will be killed for eating.